When my son was 8 years old, I got the very unconventional advice to train this move to my 8-year-old son first before I started to teach him anything else about hitting. And their theory was that it's easier to teach a young athlete how to be an explosive rotational mover and then train them how to have barrel control later in life than doing it the opposite. Now, this is not a normal teach, but I'm a very unconventional, contrarian type of person. I feel like the only way you can get results that other people aren't getting is to do things the way that they aren't doing them. So I bought in. I started at 8, and by the time my son was a sophomore in high school, he was starting to hit bombs like this out to the opposite field because we started training this move that I want to talk to you about in this video, and I want to go into like how we actually do it. And it's probably not fair to say this is the only move that we trained, but it is one of the key pieces to training people how to rotate really, really quickly. And it involves this system of the body that uses what's called fascial lines. Fascia is a tissue that if you quickly stretch it before you flex it, allows your body to be way more explosive than you otherwise would be capable of being. But if you don't spend time training rotational techniques, then kids build patterns that don't use this system in their body, and it's like really hard to teach them later. And what I'm talking about here isn't just bat speed. This is my son actually doing one of our drills that we train for this, where yes, we are tracking some bat speeds up here, but the real important number to measure is this one over here. It's called rotational acceleration. And it's actually a pretty good metric for tracking how fast your body can get the torso speeding up by firing the hips first. It's not like as fancy as the thousands of dollars of like motion capture tools that can allow you to measure all this stuff like hip speed and torso speed, but it's really, really close and we like it. And in this video, I want to show you one of the like key tricks for how we can train this. So I like to call this drill the Twisted Flamingo. And in this drill, what happens, this is my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter. You put your body in this position, and I'll show you how maybe she could be doing this better, where the pelvis is pointed backwards, right? Like her belt buckle is pointing to catch her, and her torso is supposed to kind of be pointing forward. It's like you're wringing out a towel. The top is going towards the pitcher, the pelvis is going towards the catcher. And then what happens is as you stride out, you are elongating the distance between the hands and the toe, and we're trying to get a stretch across those fascial lines that I talked about earlier. And then when we're using a bat sensor, we can actually measure how much she does. And so on this rep, she got 1.5. And through giving her some cues, we were able to get this up to like 5 G-forces in our last training session. And for those of you who don't know, one of my personal keys to saying or thinking that you're on the right track is we want to get our kids over 10 G-forces to be like, all right, they are actually doing this stuff correctly. And almost nobody can do that at the youth level. And it's a good first step. It's not the last step or the only step, but it's, I think, a very key first step to train. So let me show you some differences of the technique for how this was the first reps that my daughter did as I tried to explain to her what to do. And then let me show you a demonstration that I did that helps you be able to do this better. So here I am. I'll just play this real quick. I twist all the way forward, pull back, and then hit. And I am old and not the man I used to be at the plate. But what you see here is I told her, see, babe, you want to be like you're wringing out a towel. So my chest is pointing way more forward than if we go back to her chest and you show how much forward her chest was. Her chest is like facing the camera, maybe even still going back. So we really want to teach the body to go that opposite way, because as we then have them unring the towel, they really feel what it's like to load back and get a bigger stretch before they hit the ball. So you can see that's obviously a lot more G-forces right there. So that is the technique that we try to do with this drill. And then what happens is if you use a bat sensor to track this, and it's part of your daily routine, and like we build a stack of drills to teach this. So we have a rotational acceleration day where it's all about building up our G-forces, and we have a series of 4 or 5 drills that we will target and track. And this is one of them. And you will see this increase dramatically. It will double and triple, with the main goal getting over 10 and eventually getting over 20. But this is one of the key ways that we help kids really improve their rotational speeds. If you are interested in learning how to train this, drop me a comment and I can give you some more resources. I've also put a link to where you can get a bat sensor so you can start to track this stuff in the description section below. I strongly recommend you get that, because this stuff is hard to train if you can't give instant feedback on every rep to your kid measuring rotational acceleration. But it's super, super powerful.